I promised the communities of West Mercia that I would ensure that we put the needs of victims and survivors first. In order for victims to recover after being affected by crime, it's crucial that they have the right support. And that's why I'm making good my pledge, and on the 1st of April this year, we'll be launching the new Victim Advice Line with West Mercia Police. This service will ensure everyone affected by crime who lives within West Mercia will receive the support that they need. This support will be bespoke to the individual, and their dedicated care coordinator will work with them to ensure that they have all they need to cope and recover and get on with their lives. The victim doesn't have to have reported the crime to the police, and the service is free and confidential. So, if you feel the need to talk to somebody, then please contact the Victim Advice Line on 0800 952 3000.
So I started to walk back down the train, and as I came into a different carriage, there were 4 guys who were sat on the one side, and they were a bit leery, and as I walked past one, he kind of thought it was okay to grab me, and I turned round and said that's not acceptable, and they kind of laughed it off, thought it was quite funny. But another guy who was sat further down, who wasn't a part of that group, said, "Are you all right?" And I said, well, you know, I'm a woman, you just have to put up with these things, don't you? And then decided best things just to carry on walking down the train, because I was essentially by myself. So I sat further down, and then after a few minutes, one of the group came over and sat opposite me and started having a go at me and saying, well, you know, if it was a woman touching a guy, that would make it okay. And then gradually the entire group were in the section that I was sitting in, and it just became quite intimidating because they were all having a go at me. And the guy who had asked me if I was okay, he also came down as well to see what was going on and kind of stuck by me, but at the same time it was all kicking off around me, and I just felt trapped on the train. And and then when the train stopped, they all got off and jumped the fence, and the guy sort of stood with me, but the whole thing just felt quite scary. Liz called me and introduced herself and asked me how I was and what was happening and what had happened in the incident, and continued to call me promptly every week to check in and see how I was doing, how the case was progressing. But Liz was amazing. She was just supportive on so many levels. She was always really friendly and understanding and empathetic, and she'd offer to chase things for me. Have they got in touch with you about this? You know, I'll chase it for you and see what's happening. What's the latest update? Have they updated you? If I hadn't had an update, she'd offer to chase that, and she was just really supportive, and also gave me a good idea as to what to expect in the process. And it was just nice to have someone where you felt you had someone standing beside you, you know, through the journey, and you're not completely alone.